The SpiritWorks Band, everybody. Give it up for those guys. And for yourselves, you made it. Woo! Not everybody got out of bed this morning. Do you realize that? But you did. And that's it. That's as enthusiastic as we get. Yay. Another day. So I want to acknowledge my son who came up with me today, Alec, in the front there. Got up at 6:15 to be with you all here today and to support his father. And for a teenager, that is a Herculean task. I want everybody to get the depth of his accomplishment. And one of the things that I like is that my son and I have a great relationship. So we really still, thank you very much. I am applauding enthusiastically for that blessing in my life. So we do stuff together, you know? And this past weekend, we went and we saw Captain America, the Winter Soldier. And sure, we thought it was a great movie. And Stan Lee, who is behind Marvel Comics, who now has more money than God, is a very metaphysical man. If you read between the lines in his comic books, there's a very metaphysical bent to the characters and to their situations and to how he draws his stories. And, you know, this is tagging on to what Ginny said, the wisdom that Ginny offered this morning about how she changed her thinking around this idea of moving. And she recognized the futility in the old way of doing things, because the old way of doing things continues to bring the old results. And Jenny recognized that, hey, what if I have a new thought? What if I do something different? I'll experience a different result. And in Stan Lee's comics, I love the line in Spider-Man where the boy's grandfather says to him, with great power comes great responsibility. And so all of us here in this room are here to awaken to the great power that lives within ourselves. And then when we understand that great power that lives within ourselves, we recognize that moves happen easier. We recognize that businesses show up and prosperity happens and that life changes. And I have a feeling that many of you are here because you would like to experience perhaps a change in your lives. Is it just me? Because I can do this talk just for me today. I believe that you've all ascended. You're excused. Why don't you go downstairs, because I believe there's some lovely clothing down there. Try that on. Come back at the end. I'll do the benediction. We're out of here. No, the shoes, I got those at SpiritWorks. Fabulous. So I came today to talk about this idea of reality versus facts. And I'm going to draw that out for you as I go along here, because I think it's a really important concept for us to understand as we move along this path of spiritual evolution and spiritual growth that we are all on, by the way, whether we acknowledge it or not. You see, that's one of the challenges of spiritual growth is happening whether you believe it or not. I remember a conversation with a friend said, I don't like this religious science stuff. I said, why? Because I can't blame anybody for my problems anymore. And I said, yeah, you know, you're stuck now. You know too much. You know the great power that you have, therefore now you have to accept the great responsibility that comes along with that. So if I'm going to give you all the opportunity right now to leave before I go any farther. And if you stay, you're going to have to take responsibility for this. So one of the things that we recognize as we are on this spiritual path of awakening, you may have heard this term before. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. That's something that kind of runs through our New Thought circles, is that, I'm not a human being anymore having a human experience. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. And people tend to resonate with that, and they like that, and they agree with that. And I say, okay, I kind of agreed with that for a while until I got to another level. And now what I say is we're spiritual beings having a spiritual experience. And I want you to think about that. Because sometimes the challenge with we're spiritual beings having a human experience is we get caught up in this duality, that somehow we're human and that we've got all the limitations of being human, but we can have spirit kind of fix those limitations for us. And that's a struggle that we get into in this teaching. Is we think of ourselves as, but I'm a human, I'm limited. And I say, nay. You're not limited. You're unlimited. You're infinite. You're a pure possibility. Oh, no, but I'm human. Oh, okay. Well, let's redefine this idea of what we're talking about here. Because I like that we kind of use that to somehow keep ourselves from experiencing too much guilt around our foibles and flaws. And that's okay, but let's go beyond that. Let's go beyond these little blocks that we keep in front of our way from becoming the magnificent power that we are. Does anybody want to go to that next level? Yeah, because being human's great, but sometimes I remember when Tiger Woods was on a run, and when Tiger Woods walked into any golf course, the other players in the field basically started to have a conversation in the locker room about who was going to be second. And then when Tiger Woods hit his rough patch, I remember all the news announcers and all the sportscasters would say, well, at least he's proving that he's human. Well, then what was he before? Because all of a sudden he came back to being human, and so we're all saying, boy, we're much more comfortable with you now, Tiger, that you are failing. We're very pleased that you've decided to come back. Because all this success that you've been racking up has really bugged us and made us very uncomfortable. Because Michael Beckwith said that mediocrity seeks to bring excellence back to its level. And we need to pay attention to when we are in an experience where either our own mediocrity is trying to bring us back to a level, or our peer group's mediocrity is trying to bring us back to our level. Right? Eagles fly alone, they don't fly with turkeys, right? Everybody's heard those particular, slogans that were on the pictures back in the 80s and 90s. So this is what I'm sharing with you today. I'm opening you up to a greater possibility. I'm opening up the divine circuits up here to a new thought. Okay, so I've got an experiment with you, and then I've got two notes, but they're double spaced and it's large font, so it's okay. I'll get through it quickly. So do you know how you change? Do you know that when you change, everybody likes science, science. Well, science proves that things are the way they are. No, it doesn't. The Big Bang is still a theory, okay? Nobody knows how it started. We never will know how it started. We don't get to know how it started. So get into agreement with it. I don't know. You see, an advanced seeker can live with ambiguity, paradox, and uncertainty. People that are not advanced seekers have to have certainty in their lives. Okay, they have to know. So just know that you're advanced spiritual seekers. You can live with ambiguity, paradox, and uncertainty. It's okay. It's okay to say, I don't know. Raise your hand and say, I don't know. It's okay. Did anybody get hurt? Everybody okay? Do I need to call EMT or anything? Everybody's okay. You're all okay. You're safe. It's okay. I don't know. But okay, so I gave you an I don't know, but I'm not going to leave you hanging there. But there is an infinite intelligence, raise your hand, but there is an infinite intelligence that knows exactly what to do and how to do it. And that infinite intelligence is me. No, me. No, me. I'm the infinite intelligence. And I would like you to all come right now and... No? All right. Look. So the way this works, I'll come back to this. The way this works is there are neurons in your brain, and they are firing right now on the same neurons that they've been firing on for the last 5, 10, 15, 20, 60 years. Okay? Everybody put your hands together like this. Put your hands together like that. Everybody comfortable? Everybody comfortable? You're comfortable, right? You have all 4 fingers. Your index finger's on your index finger. This finger, whatever they call that one, is where that is. Your thumb is on your thumb. Okay? Now, what I want you to do is turn your top hand clockwise 1 and match all your fingers up. Can you do that? So your pinky should be on your thumb. Are you doing that? That's uncomfortable, isn't it? That's what happens when you change your thinking. If you hold it there for a while, if you hold it there long enough, it's okay, right? If you just keep it like that, it's okay. After a while, you go, okay, well, it's okay. I can hang with this. I'm not going to have you do the next turn. But there is another turn. As a matter of fact, there's a couple more turns. And you guys could do this. But this is what's happening when you change your mind. You're changing where there's neurons fire with each other. You're shifting. So every time you're changing your thinking, you're shifting this pattern that's been happening in your brain that's been stuck on. It's just been firing over and over and over and over and over again. And you wonder why things aren't changing in your life. Because these neurons are just firing. Right? So when you have a new thought like Jenny had, when you have a new thought like Margarita had, then this is going to start changing. These neurons are going to start changing, firing. I didn't make that up. That's in the movie What the Bleep Do We Know? Okay? I do research, and then I discover facts, and I bring them to you. Thank you. So today we're shifting those neurons. We are shifting where these pathways in our brain have become ingrained. They become locked in. We have to create new pathways for the energy to flow. And when that energy flows, metaphysically, it reveals a different experience. Now that's where I come back to this talk of what's the difference between a fact and reality. Okay? So, Ernest Holmes, don't know if you guys have ever heard of him. Or not. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, like there are certain areas of town where people refer to each other as Holmes, and that's who they're talking about. Thank you. That was a risky joke, but I think I pulled it off successfully. Ernest Holmes says, we are spiritual beings, but do not know it. We do not understand it. In ignorance, we misuse our divinity. Okay? All right. Can you handle that? I am going to say guilty as charged, Dr. Holmes. Guilty as charged because for many years, probably the first 35 years of my life, I misused my divinity. Okay? Totally created what I didn't want to create. Created pain, created suffering, created unhappiness, created disharmony, created chaos, created illness, created poverty, created all kinds of stuff that was not my reality. And you see, they're coming to take me away because I'm not really a minister. No. Okay. So I created all kinds of things that I did not want to experience in my life once I learned that I had a choice, that I was at choice. So this idea of misusing our divinity is fine. It's okay to misuse our divinity because we don't know any better. All right? So there's no guilt and there's no shame and there's no blame. It's just okay. Because here's what I say. When we know better, we will do better. That's it. That's it. When we know better, we'll do better. And that's what you can say, as you're engaged with people in your experience that perhaps are making the same mistakes, that their neurons keep firing on the same fingers all the time, because guess what they're doing? The best they know how to do. They are honestly, everybody, remember this, everybody is doing the best they know how to do with the information that they have in the moment. Okay? So we set them free to be on their path to do what they need to do. And then we take ourselves back to our path and go, well, I know better, so I guess I better do better. And the more I know better and the more I do better, then guess how I show up to the rest of the world? I'll have what she's having. Nobody expected Harry and Sally this morning. So Ernest Holmes said that in our ignorance we misuse our divinity. However, we can never change reality. So there's the idea of today's talk. What's this thing called reality? If we can misuse our divinity but we can't change our reality, what's our reality? Our reality is that we are divine. Our reality is the infinite intelligence that is all that we perceive is all that we are. Remember, Jesus said, I and my Father are one. Now, I've said this before in the group here on a Sunday. Father didn't mean daddy, and it didn't mean patriarch in the Aramaic word that was translated from. Father was a term of endearment, and it is more equivalent to the word beloved today. Okay? So that is going to shift your whole paradigm about how the terms he spoke. They were not spoken of a parent figure, nor were they spoken of a male figure, nor were they spoken of an authority figure. They were spoken of a beloved. Think about that. I and my beloved are one. Doesn't that sound better? Doesn't that sound more palatable? Well, that's what he meant. That's what he meant. He meant to say, I and my beloved are one, because he had transcended this idea of him as a spiritual being having a human experience and became a spiritual being having a spiritual experience. And when he recognized where he was at, the best way he could communicate it to the people at hand was, I and my beloved are one. You're beloved. You're beloved. You love your beloved, don't you? And guess what your beloved thinks about you? Beloved loves you. Beloved thinks you're wonderful. So you've got this essence of love, which is the essence of who we are. Everybody on board with me so far? Okay, don't be scared. I'll get you there. So the reality is this idea. The reality is this beloved. That's what's real. The beloved is real. Now, we can call the beloved God, or we can call the beloved Spirit, or we can call the beloved infinite intelligence. All of those words work, yet those words cannot encompass the beloved. No more so can we encompass the beloved than the Hubble telescope can encompass the universe, can it? It can give us glimpses deeper into space, but it's never going to give us the entire universe. So pick a word that you like, pick a word that resonates to you, but the beloved is the essence of all of those words. So here's this idea of reality. What is reality? Reality is your beloved. It is infinite intelligence, and it does not change. It does not change. How does that work in our world? Okay, so Margarita, having an opportunity to grow and say, hey, let's go take Prosperity Plus and let's get a new idea around money. I've been there. I remember sitting on the ground in the fetal position with my checkbook next to me with $30 in my checkbook and $17,000 worth of debt on the credit card statement next to it. Okay? And no, there wasn't any secret money. There wasn't any, well, he's not telling us about the money that was in the savings account. No. Well, he's not telling us about the money Mom and Dad was given. No money from Mom and Dad. Well, he's not telling us how much that BMW that he wouldn't sell was worth. Didn't have a BMW. That was it. $30, $17,000 in debt. Okay? So been there, done that. Know that. Know that experience. Cool. Know that experience. Today, it ain't that experience anymore. It's changed. It's changed drastically. Because why? Because the reality of who I was never changed. The reality of you as source, the reality of you as infinitely abundant never changes. That can't change. Because if that changed, you couldn't become it. You can't become what Spirit, what God, what infinite intelligence is not. Do you understand that? You can be distracted from it. You can think, oh, I'm sick, I'm diseased, I'm ill, I'm injured. You can think that temporarily, but if you want to get whole, you can get whole again, is because God never stopped being whole. Do you grasp that? That is why, in whatever your difficulty is, the solution already exists, because the solution lives as reality. Not in reality, but as reality. That's where the solution lives. It's like, I don't know if anybody's ever built their own home, but I think one of the things that you get that you do prior to building your own home is you get some blueprints, don't you? Okay, so you build your own home, and I know this is a sensitive subject in Los Angeles, but somehow the ground shakes, and we'll say that the garage falls down. Okay? I don't want you to be too inconvenienced in this story. So the garage falls down, and there it is. It's a pile of rubble. What happened to the blueprint? Do you go back and look at the blueprint? Does the blueprint have a garage in a pile of rubble? No. So you just go back to the blueprint and you rebuild and the garage gets recreated to look what it looked like in the blueprint. That's what reality is. Reality is your spiritual blueprint. It never changes. No matter what is transpiring in your life, reality or your spiritual blueprint has not changed. So that's why reality never changes, because reality is the divine one, the infinite intelligence that is you. Cool. That will not change. Your facts change, okay? My fact was, didn't have any money, had a lot of debt, okay? Didn't have money, a lot of debt. My fact was I had a condition that my physician told me I would have forever. That was my fact, okay? My fact was other conditions, because of this condition, would show up every year. okay? And I had to manage those conditions by always seeing that doctor. And then I realized that every 2 years that doctor got a new Porsche. Well, it was on lease. Somebody had to pay for it. So at that point in time, those were my facts. Those weren't my reality. I want you to look at your life right now and look at the experiences in your life and make sure that you are not confusing your facts for your reality. That's very important because your facts change. Facts change, reality stays the same. So if you come up to me and go, well, Gary, my reality is I'm on a fixed income and that's it for me. Or I have this and my doctor told me I'm going to have it forever. That's what's real for me. No, that's a fact. That might be a fact, but it's not your reality. Ernest Holmes said that disease is a fact, but not a reality. So as you continue to dwell on reality in your life, then reality is what shows up as your facts. So how do we dwell on reality in our lives? Well, Yogananda said think about God all the time. Didn't say think about God on Sunday. Didn't say think about God occasionally. Didn't think about God when you type in OMG on a text. Think about God all the time. Socrates said the unexamined life is hardly worth living. Are we examining our lives? I have paraphrased that in my upcoming book to say the unexamined belief is hardly worth believing. Are we examining our beliefs? Are we doing the difficult work of determining why we believe what we believe? If we look at many of our beliefs are given to us by the race consciousness. Well, everybody else believes it, so it must be okay for me to believe it. You can, but you don't have to. You see, Jenny had a new thought. I encourage all of you to accept for yourselves a new thought of what's possible. Now, what do you think is possible to the infinite intelligence? Anything. But what is possible for you is to already become that which you are. So you don't have to work too hard of it. You're already it. Just get you out of the way. Remember, Emerson said, get your bloated nothingness out of the way of the divine circuits. Now, I myself try to keep myself trim, but I have felt bloat at times. Now, another spiritual avatar, Harry Moses, I don't know if you knew that was what his first name was, said this, and it's right there, it's on your wall. Consciousness is everything. Consciousness is everything. Not consciousness is everything when I go listen to Harry talk. Not consciousness is something. Not consciousness is, well, maybe. Consciousness is everything. So by holding our attention on these concepts, by holding our attention on these possibilities, we then allow ourselves to enter into the reality of our experience. Now, the reality of our experience is what Jesus called the kingdom of God. Okay? And now, Jesus always said that the kingdom of God, and he tried to explain it to people. Do you know that Jesus had 6 parables that he tried to explain to his followers the kingdom of God? 6. Do you know why? Because apparently they were not working. It's okay to laugh at those particular jokes. Can I laugh at that? They weren't working. So he tried the parable of the seeds, he tried the parable of the bread, and then he tried the parable of the treasure. All right? And so his disciples said to him, "Why do you speak to the people in parables?" And he said, "The knowledge of the secrets of the kingdom of heaven has been given to you, but not to them. Whoever has been given more, he will have an abundance. Whoever does not, even what he has will be taken away from him. This is why I speak in parables. They do not see, they do not hear, they do not understand." What keeps us from seeing, hearing, and understanding? Our own resistance. Our own resistance. Let go. Let's let go the resistance of being as magnificent as you are. Are you guys ready to walk out of here today and be Spider-Man? Are you? Wouldn't that be cool? You would web sling all the way home. And people would, "How do you get here so fast?" And then you like had a catchy jingle, da-da-da, da-da-da, and you'd hum that. And I'll have what she's having. So it's this idea, the kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven is simply available to us to the degree that we recognize who we are. Now, I say, and I do believe that Jesus still, he moves around. He would not come back to the world. He would not reveal himself right now. People aren't ready for it. But if he did, his parable would be something like this. Because he was trying to get the idea of what the kingdom was across to people. He would say the kingdom, he would always start his parables with the kingdom is like. My Bible scholars here in the classroom, sanctuary. It's kind of like a classroom. The kingdom is like a house where a Japanese handyman lives. And you will wax cars and paint fences and sand floors. I will let that sink in until you all get it. Daniel-san. No. You can't do Mr. Miyagi without doing the accent. What did he learn? He learned that the path to his success was indirect. He didn't know that this was teaching him karate. He thought this was a waste of time. The path to the kingdom, the path to his success was indirect. You see, the path to the kingdom is indirect. That's what Jesus was communicating through parable. Is the path to the kingdom is done by practicing. Practicing what? Changing your thinking, changing your habits, changing your mind in the moment that the opportunity lives to change your mind. Doing this. Right? That's the path to the kingdom. So isn't that easy? And guess what the benefit is? The benefit is the move gets easier. The benefit is the money shows up. The benefit is there's a new job. The benefit is the relationship gets better. The benefit is you feel more peaceful in your life. Do you know, I have glimpses of the kingdom of heaven occasionally. And I find that when I am in those spaces, I have a terrible time thinking about self-preservation, self-protection, and self-defense. Because there's nothing outside of me. There's nothing to protect myself against. You see, in a oneness, nothing's out to get you. There's nothing to get you. And there's no you to get anymore. Because that which you are, nature is. People are. Isn't that a much better place to live? You can breathe. Because you've been holding your breaths for way too long. All right. So, again, I'm going to finish this up. just remember, when someone says they're a realist to you, they are not. They are a factist. And that's fine. Let them be a factist. Remember that it is your practice that provides the pathway to the kingdom. And that it is always a pleasure to come share insights with you at SpiritWorks. Bless you, and have a great Sunday. Thank you. I get the pleasure of doing the closing treatment, or at least the mid-morning treatment. Remember again, treatment, before I do treatment, I'm sure you hear it, and I always like to say it, but treatment is one of those wax-on, wax-off things that we do that's indirect, that leads us into the kingdom. So as I simply allow myself to settle in to speak this word for myself, for those gathered here, I recognize the power and the presence that is God, that is infinite intelligence, that is the non-dual, that is spirit, right here and right now, moves through each and every one of us here. That which we have heard today, which is for our highest good, is now deeply integrated into the very core and the very cellular nature of our being. And that which has been caused to be recognized as no longer serving us is now released instantaneously and effortlessly. It has done its work, and we send it on its way. We allow ourselves to recognize that in that which is left is truly the kingdom. It is truly the recipient of that which the Father has given, the Beloved has given, and the gift. All we need do is simply accept. And I say thank you for making it so. And together we may say, and so it is.